I've always been drawn to places where time doesn't move the way it does for the rest of us. Hidden corners of the world where the clock seems to stop and history lingers in the air. When I first came across these places, they felt less like destinations and more like living time capsules, each one carrying echoes of lives, customs, and journeys the world has almost forgotten. Before we begin, I want to invite you, if you love unraveling secrets the world hides away, to subscribe and join me. Because what we're about to uncover is unlike any guidebook journey. This is not about ruins or empty streets. These villages are alive, but only just. Their survival is fragile, balanced between history and change, memory and disappearance. But in China's mountains, rivers and valleys, there are villages that go beyond forgotten. They're not just old, they feel erased, as if time itself tried to bury them. Places so remote, so mysterious, that most people will never hear their names. Some of these places were abandoned by trade, others forgotten by progress. Some are hidden behind cliffs, caves, or rivers, shielded from outsiders for generations. And each one feels like stepping into a living ghost story. I'll take you across China's unseen world, from mountaintop villages carved by hand to ancient towns swallowed by bamboo and mist. Together, we'll enter spaces where memory clings harder than life itself. So let's begin. High in the cliffs, in a village nearly erased from the map, our first journey takes us to Guoliang. High in the Taihang Mountains lies Guoliang village, a place once nearly erased by sheer isolation. For centuries, cliffs sealed its people away from the outside world, forgotten by modern China. Life here was brutally hard. Villages were cut off, carrying supplies by hand along narrow mountain paths. Time nearly claimed the village, erasing it through hardship and silence. But the people of Guoliang refused to vanish. With their own hands, they carved a tunnel road through solid rock, an act of defiance against both time and nature. This road that does not belong to the world, as locals call it, changed everything. For the first time, Guoliang connected to the outside, its existence no longer fading away. Yet walking through its stone houses and narrow streets, you still feel the weight of centuries. The past is alive here, even as time continues pressing against the village walls. Guoliang stands as proof. Some places do not simply disappear, they fight. And in this battle against time, Guoliang carved its survival directly into the mountain that once imprisoned it. Walking through that tunnel today, you can still see the chisel marks on the walls, each strike a testament to their determination. It wasn't just an engineering feat, it was survival, a refusal to let their home be swallowed by time's silence. Nestled deep within the misty valleys of Jiangxi lies Likeng village, a place where time seems to walk slowly, as though each moment is gently preserved in amber. The village greets you with whitewashed walls, black-tiled roofs, and stone bridges arching gracefully over narrow canals, scenes that feel less like reality and more like stepping into a living painting. Likeng is part of the ancient Huizhou culture, where merchants once thrived. Their wealth built intricate wooden houses, each carved with patterns of dragons, phoenixes, and flowers, still whispering tales of prosperity long past. Walking through its alleys, you'll hear the quiet echo of footsteps, the distant murmur of water running beneath bridges, and perhaps the soft call of a farmer tending his fields. Unlike bustling tourist towns, Likeng holds its secrets close. The air is hushed, broken only by the rustle of bamboo leaves or the creak of an old wooden gate. And here's the hidden truth. Many travelers pass through Jiangxi without ever knowing Likeng exists. It remains a quiet jewel, a reminder of a China that has not been erased by time. At the foot of the misty Hongcun Mountains lies Hongcun, a village so enchanting that it feels less like stone and wood and more like poetry carved into the earth. The village is arranged like a cow, according to ancient feng shui. Its crescent-shaped moon pond and flowing waterways act as lifeblood, nourishing both the land and its people. Whitewashed houses with black tiles line the quiet streets, their delicate carvings telling stories of scholars, merchants, and ancestors who shaped this hidden treasure over centuries of history and devotion. Hongcun's beauty is so otherworldly that it inspired artists for generations, even becoming the backdrop of famous films, its reflections on water shimmering like brushstrokes from a master's hand. Here, silence speaks louder than words. The ripples on the ponds, the distant clang of a blacksmith, the rustle of mountain wind, all remind you that time still lingers here. Hongcun may attract curious travelers today, but at its heart, it remains a living relic, a village where history, culture, and landscape merge into something timeless, something China never truly let slip away. Hidden among the rolling fields of Henan, Nuji village is not known for grand palaces or ancient walls, but for something far more mesmerizing: waves of golden canola flowers. Every spring, the earth bursts into color as endless fields bloom, transforming the land into a golden ocean, with limestone peaks rising like dark islands through a sea of yellow. The people of Nuji have lived quietly alongside this beauty for centuries, tending their fields, guiding their cattle, and keeping traditions alive far from the noise of modern cities. When the blossoms sway in the wind, the entire valley feels alive. Farmers, travelers, and the village itself breathing in rhythm with the land's eternal cycle of rebirth. From above, the patterns of fields and mountains look almost unreal, like nature's own artwork, painted carefully across the canvas of Yunnan for those lucky enough to find it. Nuji is not just a village, it's a fleeting season, a reminder that beauty can be both ordinary and extraordinary, rooted in the daily life of those who call it home. Tucked in the shadow of Anhui's misty mountains lies Nanping, a village that feels frozen in time, overshadowed by its famous neighbors, Hongcun and Xidi, yet quietly enduring. Walking its narrow alleys, you'll find crumbling courtyards and weathered wooden doors, whispering stories of merchants and families who once thrived here during the Ming and Qing dynasties. Unlike polished tourist towns, Nanping carries the marks of age: faded paint, cracked stone, and silence that lingers, giving it the weight of authenticity untouched by constant renovation. Each ancestral hall feels like a time capsule, echoing with rituals and traditions nearly forgotten, where the air seems heavy with incense smoke that once guided village life. The surrounding rice fields ripple softly in the breeze, just as they did centuries ago, tying the present to a rhythm of seasons that refuses to disappear. Nanping is not a village that shouts for attention. It waits patiently for those who wish to wander off the map and step into a forgotten chapter of history. On the shores of Anhui Lake, Shuanglang was once a quiet fishing village where boats rocked gently and life revolved around the water's calm and steady rhythm. Over time, travelers discovered its beauty: snow-capped mountains reflected in the lake, and winding stone paths leading to courtyards where villagers once dried their catch beneath the Yunnan sun. Tourism transformed its edges, but in the village's heart, time moves slower. Elders still gather by the docks, weaving nets, while the sound of waves hums like an ancient lullaby. Here, the contrast is striking. Modern cafes sit beside crumbling wooden houses, yet the old village spirit lingers in the morning markets and quiet, lantern-lit streets. At dusk, when the lake glows silver, Shuanglang feels eternal, holding on to both its forgotten fishing heritage and the timeless beauty that first drew wanderers to its hidden shores. Jianshui, often called a museum of ancient architecture, has stood for over 1,000 years, where Confucian temples, stone bridges, and winding alleys preserve the elegance of a forgotten dynasty. The town's Zhu family garden whispers stories of merchants and scholars, its courtyards filled with carved woodwork, koi ponds, and pathways that feel suspended between memory and fading time. Here, history lingers in the smallest details: blue-gray bricks, arched doorways, and incense curling above shrines, carrying the voices of generations who once walked these same weathered streets. Once a key stop on ancient trade routes, Jianshui now rests quietly, overlooked by modern travelers, yet still alive with echoes of drums, festivals, and the rhythm of old traditions. Evenings are slow, lanterns flickering on stone walls while shadows stretch across the town, painting Jianshui as a living relic caught between survival and the gentleness of decline. In Jianshui, time has not erased history. It has deepened it, making the town not abandoned, but hidden, waiting for those curious enough to listen to its quiet breath. High on Gaoyi Ridge, small mountain villages cling to the slopes like secrets, their wooden homes scattered among terraces of mist and pine, half hidden from the world below. Generations once farmed these ridges, shaping the land with rice paddies that shimmered under the sun, but many families have drifted away, leaving silence where laughter once rang. The abandoned courtyards stand quietly, moss creeping across stone steps, doors creaking in the wind, while a handful of elders still guard traditions, living as their ancestors once did. Every morning, clouds roll across the ridge like an ocean tide, swallowing the villages in white. From afar, they appear more like dreams than real, tangible places. Gaoyi Ridge feels timeless, untouched by the rush of cities, where forgotten trails wind past tea fields, bamboo groves, and ruins slowly dissolving into the embrace of the mountains. Here, the present feels distant. The ridge is a threshold, where what remains of human life blends with the wilderness, and the villages themselves linger like half-faded memories of time. Beneath Guilin's emerald-cast mountains, small riverside villages rest quietly along the Li River, their stone lanes and tiled rooftops blending seamlessly into one of China's most surreal landscapes. Morning mists drift across the water, wrapping fishing boats and bamboo groves in silver. The villages awaken slowly, with roosters crowing, children running barefoot, and elders gathering under ancient banyan trees. Life here unfolds at an unhurried rhythm, unchanged for centuries. Farmers still work rice paddies by hand, and fishermen cast nets while cormorants perch on bamboo rafts, just as their ancestors did. Yet modernization presses at the edges. Many younger villagers have left for cities, leaving behind empty homes and fading traditions, while the mountains and river remain eternal witnesses to change. At sunset, Guilin's limestone peaks turn golden, mirrored in the Li River, while smoke curls from village chimneys, painting a picture of timeless beauty that few travelers ever see up close. Guilin is more than scenery. It is a reminder that villages shaped by nature and tradition can survive centuries, carrying forward stories etched in stone, water, and quiet endurance. High in the Ailao Mountains of Yunnan, the Han people carved endless rice terraces into the hillsides, creating villages that seem to float between earth and sky. At dawn, the terraces shimmer like mirrors, reflecting colors of fire and gold. From above, they resemble a vast, living painting, crafted not by brush, but by generations of hands. Nestled between the terraces, wooden Hani villages stand quietly, smoke drifting from chimneys. Life here depends on rhythm, planting, harvesting, and honoring the mountains that give them everything. These terraces have endured for over 1,000 years, surviving floods, wars, and time itself. The Hani's traditions remain strong, echoing through festivals, songs, and rituals passed down through generations. Few travelers venture deep into these mountain villages, where winding stone paths lead to hidden courtyards, and silence is broken only by the sound of water trickling from terrace to terrace. Yuanyang is more than farmland. It is a timeless dialogue between people and nature, a living landscape where villages still cling to the past, resisting the erasure of time. Far in the remote valleys of northern Xinjiang lies Hemu village, a settlement of wooden cabins surrounded by endless forests and snow-capped peaks. Few places in China feel so untouched. This is home to the Tuva people, an ancient ethnic group whose traditions echo the ways of their nomadic ancestors. Their language, songs, and stories preserve a world nearly forgotten. In autumn, golden birch trees blanket the hillsides, framing the village in a glow so unreal it feels painted. Winters bring deep snow, isolating the community for months. Life here follows the old rhythm, herding livestock, hunting, and living in harmony with the forests. Modernity creeps slowly, but the heartbeat of tradition still defines daily life. Few travelers endure the journey to Hemu. Dirt roads, remote mountains, and limited access keep it hidden, leaving the village a secret, whispered only among those who seek the wild. Hemu is more than a village. It's a memory of another China, one where wooden homes, silent rivers, and ancient songs remind us of lives time almost erased. South of Suzhou lies Tongli, an ancient water town where stone bridges and canals weave through quiet streets. Known as the Venice of the East, its beauty hides behind centuries of history. The town is over 1,000 years old, with narrow alleys, whitewashed walls, and black-tiled roofs. that whisper stories of dynasties long past. Here, time flows as slowly as the canals. Tongli's most famous treasures are its bridges. The 3 bridges are believed to bring health, happiness, and longevity, a tradition locals still honor as they cross each arch in silence. Hidden courtyards and ancient gardens rest behind wooden gates, untouched by the chaos of modern cities nearby. Within them, carved lattice windows and mossy stones echo lives that once thrived here. The town's waterways were once lifelines for merchants, scholars, and farmers. Today, gondola-like boats still glide through the canals, carrying whispers of the prosperity that time nearly erased. Tongli is more than a preserved relic. It is a quiet reminder that even in China's most crowded regions, there remain hidden places where life drifts gently, as though untouched by centuries. Deep in the snowy wilderness of Heilongjiang lies Shuangfeng Forest Farm, a hidden village blanketed by towering pines and endless snowdrifts. In winter, it becomes a fairy tale world few outsiders ever reach. The village is famous for its snow mushrooms, heavy snow piling high on rooftops, fences, and trees, creating surreal shapes that make the settlement look like a dream sculpted from ice. Wooden houses stand half buried under layers of snow, smoke rising slowly from chimneys. Life here is harsh but peaceful, defined by firewood, warm meals, and the endurance of mountain villages. At night, red lanterns glow against the white landscape, casting an otherworldly light across the frosted streets. It feels less like a real village and more like stepping into myth. Shuangfeng remains hidden by geography and climate. Bitter cold, treacherous roads, and long winters shield it from mass tourism, keeping its charm frozen in time, preserved in silence. This is not simply a forest farm, it is a secret world of snow, where people live at the edge of survival, and beauty resists the passage of time. Surrounded by limestone-cast peaks and winding rivers, Yangshuo feels like a village, painted onto silk. Here, mist drifts across emerald valleys, concealing a world that seems older than time. For centuries, poets and painters celebrated Yangshuo's beauty, calling it a paradise under heaven. Yet beyond the tourist streets, quiet hamlets and hidden paths still hold on to forgotten traditions. The Li River flows gently past fishing villages, where cormorant fishermen practice methods unchanged for generations. Their lantern-lit rafts at night transform the river into a moving ribbon of mystery and memory. Stone houses and narrow alleys reveal lives lived slowly, farming rice paddies, tending water buffalo, and honoring the land that sustains them. Modern life creeps close, Yet Yangshuo resists. At dawn, the mountains emerge from swirling fog like ghosts, casting shadows over villages nestled between the cliffs. It is a landscape both haunting and breathtaking, untouched by passing centuries. Across the vastness of China, we've wandered through hidden villages, places carved into cliffs, buried in snow, or floating between rivers and mountains. Each one carries whispers of time, memory, and survival. Some of these towns cling stubbornly to tradition, resisting the pull of modernity. Others stand quietly fading, their stories slowly dissolving into silence. Yet together, they reveal a China the world rarely sees. These are not just villages. They are living time capsules, reminders that even in the fastest changing nation on Earth, there are still corners where history holds on, waiting to be discovered. I've taken you through places where few outsiders have walked, where every stone street and wooden doorway tells a story. But there are still countless secrets hidden across this land. If you've been captivated by these journeys into forgotten worlds, make sure to subscribe. That way, you won't miss the next story, the next village, the next secret waiting to be uncovered. Because the world is full of places that time tried to erase, and together we'll keep finding them, one hidden village at a time.